You're not here now.
We keep trying to find a farmer that wants to put some cattle on it.
Is it already fenced?
It's fenced, but it needs some maintenance. I mean, we bought a lot of fencing materials. We had a kid that was supposed to fence it, but he was using on his own place.
How bad is the
Not bad, you know, it's just some tightening up, and we have the new solar generator for the electric wire. We bought posts, we have plenty of wire. Critters up there.
How long is the drive from here and there?
40 minutes.
Yeah, about 40 minutes.
If it takes 40 minutes, maybe I can come look at it, because if it's not a whole lot of repair, then I could bring some horses over once in a while.
Oh yeah, I'll leave it.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, we can give you the rest.
10 acres, that's enough to feed several horses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
You
it's,
guys moved down in 3 years, are you going to keep horses or cows, or do you have in mind what you might do with that stuff for yourself?
I want a whole pile of critters. I want goats, horses, donkeys, chickens. I love horses. We had 2 abandoned horses on the property last year.
Roaming wild?
Yeah, I mean their manes and their tails were solid mats. They had all these burrs in them, and they just looked very unkept.
And you didn't even know whose they were?
No, we tried to find out who, and we tried to find somebody that would be willing to, you know, try and come and retrieve them. And couldn't find anybody, but they eventually disappeared. I tried to cut some of them outside.
Whatever eventually happened to them?
I don't know. They look very much like this couple. You know, one was more chestnut, one was much more dark brown.
Dark brown color on the right, there's a name for that color on the horse swirl. They call that a bay horse.
Bay, okay.
And the bay is the most common color of any horse. Black mane, black tail, brown coloration.
I had a farmer that was cutting it, but we had so much rain this year that he hasn't been able to cut it. And now I got way too much thistle growing, and I need to get like a DR mower or something.
They do the bush hog. It's not ever going to be made to it's good just to mow it down.
My caretaker did have a bush hog on his tractor, but it broke. So, yeah,
Have a very big tractor.
no, it's not all that large. But, yeah,
The bush hog broke and
yeah, he didn't let the bush hog use, and didn't realize that a lot of the teeth were welded on, and they broke. So he hasn't been able to fix it.
it's one of those things like cobbler's children, because he works as a machinist. But he
Beautiful.
Be careful, it might be poisonous.
Oh, you saw a snake?
Where is it?
going to go check on them.
Well,
Or?
if it's climbing up there, it's probably not poisonous. The poisonous snakes around here usually stay on the ground. What color is it? Black?
Yeah, it's a black rat snake.
Yeah, they are very good climbers. The Cherokee Indians, that's their name for them, the climber. When you pointed up, I thought, oh, that's probably just a black snake. But when you first mentioned snake, the first thought I thought about is your safety, because if you touch a poisonous snake, they can bite you and make you very painful. But a black rat snake, when they bite, they really don't hurt that much unless you jerk back real fast and then they rip some of their teeth out in your skin. You just have to pluck the little bony teeth out.
Franklin got bitten.
Did you get bitten by the black snake
Yep.
today?
No, a while ago at my house.
And you have a guard on your hand. That's nice. You made that, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's fun to make your own tools, isn't it?
Yep.
That's for shooting your bow and your arrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way then that string pops right there. It won't hurt you so much. Excuse me. The Navajo Indians, they got it to a point where they put a big piece of silver on the back with turquoise, and they would make a decorative one to the point where they, even when they quit using the bows and arrows, they kept wearing the decoration just because it was a part of their culture. You know what culture means?
Yeah.
It's a way of life, isn't it? 3 words can say that, way of life. Like you have your way of life, and all the different people have their different ways of life. That building there is one that I built in a lot different place. It was way over there.
Yeah.
I built it about 24 years ago. And then after about 23 years, I decided to move it. And I brought it down here and put it up there. They found a black snake. I don't think it'll cause any harm. It's probably up there getting that mouse that was keeping you awake.
Yeah. It's all curled up. It's taking a little nap.
Nice.
It's a nice day for a nap out here.
Yeah.
It's a
And
beautiful
that
day.
box you have, that's the one that you made here, isn't it? That's a nice one.
Here's some of the blacksmithing.
Wow, nice handle. You can take that and put it on a door that you use a lot.
That's right. And the hook. Hooks.
What kind of hook did I see? I was looking at my horse's head.
We made these kind of hooks.
Yeah, out of an old horseshoe. Use
And
it
then I
up,
wanted
wear it
like
out, make it
S-hooks.
do it that. Oh yeah, S-hook, yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Thanks for those turkeys.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to bring you a couple more, and then we can see whose turkeys are growing bigger.
Okay.
We'll have a competition.
Sounds good. I'm up for it. There you go. She's on the rope. She went back in. It's like something from Peter Pan. People popping in one place and out another. Sliding twistedly down the smooth pole.
That's right. This is a children's wonderland for sure.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
I have a feeling you guys had a good time.
Yes. I always have a good time. Now I brought them,
And your son shows extraordinarily high aptitude for working with horses. That's pretty fun to see that. It'd be good if he could get some lessons from a good teacher.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have some neighbors, not really close neighbors, but about 6 miles away that have horses,
Uh-huh.
and their children have moved out of the house. I think we need to hook up with them and
There you go.
team up to do some.
Well, Franklin, you take care. We'll see you another time. Hope you come back soon.
Okay.
Well, it was great fun. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your buggy ride.
Oh, we are. It's delightful.
It's wonderful, yeah.
Come up, boys. Good boy, Karen.
I don't know if my back could handle spending the night here.
A lot of pads that were softer than the bed at home, I bet it would.
Oh, yeah.
All without preparation. Getting what you need. Whatever soft pad is what you need, then you can bring it, right?
Yep.
roughing it. It's not necessarily about roughing it, it's about smoothing it over and making it nice.
This is nice.
Yeah. I want to have more trails like this on our property.
Things that I do, design trails and build trails. The interns are job doing that. They don't have any cash flow while they're here other than neighbors giving them odd jobs to help. Go out and clear trees for people, build trails, and just a variety of things that go in line with what we're teaching them here on a regular basis anyway.
I'd be interested in hiring them.
Good. Maybe if I come over to look at the pasture, I can get an idea of the layout of your land.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have an idea where you might want a trail system already?
Well, we have a few trails that we use the gator on. But there's a few more that I'd like cleared out. Some of them are not accessible to the gator. Too many rocks, too steep. And
The mountainside is really steep.
yeah,
So those would be just walking trails then?
Yes.
right. Walking and hiking trails, and I have one spot that I want to make for our caretaker, Evan. He likes to go up on the mountain and meditate, and I wanted to give him a spot that I plan on calling Evan's Rest.
Yeah.
And it has big, huge boulders in it with a big flat top like an altar.
Wow.
And it's perfect for him.
Nice.
And then on the creek, running like along our front yard, we want to have steps put in and benches down by the creek.
How about stone walls, stone benches, stone fireplace, barbecue pit areas, all that?
I'm going to
kind
put you to work.
of-
And you can bring as many critters as you want over.
Yeah, we'll be there tomorrow, but then we have to leave.
Yeah, we have to
Well,
leave.
maybe the next time you come down, or
Yeah.
even the next time, just
Unless you have time tomorrow. Unless you can come down tomorrow if you
I
have.
don't think tomorrow I can do it. What time do you leave though tomorrow?
Well, we're leaving Tuesday morning. We're leaving probably around 7 o'clock in the morning.
Tuesday. Okay, so you'll be there all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll keep it open as an idea. I've got a lot of responsibilities with all the family campers here.
Right.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's a possibility if it's only 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't take too long.
And that's what it took today to get here.
But how long does it take you to get to Boone from your place?
About 30 minutes or so.
No, more.
How
This
much?
is Boone is around 15 minutes.
50 minutes? Really? Okay. Well,
Nice.
We are not almost due north of here.
yeah. Do you know where West Jefferson is? We're north of West Jefferson.
Okay. How far from West Jefferson are you?
For
About 20 minutes,
No,
15, 20 minutes.
15 minutes.
It's very direct, very easy to get there.
Good boy. Good boy. Go ahead. That little squeaking noise tells them they need to pay attention to the words and think backwards. He did just say if he wants us to walk.
How's your back?
Fine.
Good.
My spine is huge.
Do you try to make sure you don't go over bumps like this, I guess?
You know, I just try and make sure that
Holding.
my bearings I move with it. They have a lot of wild ginseng on them now. I have trouble finding it.
In the fall, it's best time to find it. It's easier to see when it has a crimson berry. Really stands out. It's quite sharp in contrast to all the green changing colors. Bright crimson berry. Now, just because you find a bright crimson berry, don't think that it has to be Hinson. Because
Right.
there's some other ones, like there's one called the Jasmine Sulphur that has a very similar.
Oh, yeah.
And that one is poisonous, so you don't want to eat that. But if you're sure you have the same thing, I eat the berry, so let's see chew the red flesh up and then scar the berries, or scar the seeds with my tooth a little bit. Seems like they come up better if they've been chewed on just a little bit.
Right. Just to break the heart.
Yeah. And then I plant the seeds back in the ground so they'll make some more. That way you don't really hurt the plant because they're going to drop down anyway. And I eat the leaves too, especially in the fall when they're about going to drop anyway. Like
Yeah.
earlier.
Hello, biggies. Do you use them to do new garden pots?
That's right. That's what they're doing right there. That's going to be a garden
Oh,
plot.
good.
We're slowly working on turning it all up.
This is the wood you harvest from here?
This is all the wood that you've harvested
Right,
from your
yeah.
area?
All of this came right here on the property.
That's beautiful. You have a beehive there.
Sawmill.
And a big beehive.
Yeah, the hornet.
Yeah. That's your sawmill.
Oh, look
See
at
the big
that.
blade right there?
Isn't that stunning?
Yeah. And that thing gets going so fast that you can hardly even see it. It's just flying around through there. And there's a little train. You kind of can't see how long of it. You can see this end of it. You can see that little wheel.
Yep.
Well, it goes back. It must be probably 15, 16 feet long, something like that. And that train goes up and down those two tracks. And every time, see, we put one log, see that whole pile of logs?
Right.
They're all ready. You roll one log on, and every time it goes down the track, one more board comes off. Then we roll it back, and move it over 1.25 inches, and roll by, and an inch board comes off. Roll it back, move it over 1.25 inches, zoom, inch and a 1 inch board comes off each time. 1/4 inch turns into sawdust. It piles up out here, and then we use that to put under the horses' feet so they'll have a soft place to stand. And then also, that's the carbon, and when the nitrogen from the horse's urine, when they urinate and it gets sucked up and absorbed in the dry sawdust, then you have a perfect nitrogen carbon blend to put in your compost pile, brought back to make food for more plants. In fact, sometimes we even spread it on the grass that feeds them, so they're helping make their own food. And they help spread it. You know, it's just, we all work together to make it work out. We use the ancient ways, the ways that have been tried and true for many, many years.
So you can cut about 15 feet logs in this thing?
Most commonly, you cut 8, 10, or 12.
8,
That's
10,
the
or
most
12.
common ones. With more 8s, and then next would be 10s. Short logs are easier to come by because if you have a bend or a twist in a tree, you can cut 8-foot sections out easier than you can find a 12-foot section. But, sort of to answer your question, I have cut even 22-foot logs on here, but that's very challenging. A 16-foot log is not that bad, but it definitely is longer than we normally cut. So normally just up to 12 foot, but once in a while when we have a special project, then we'll custom saw pieces a lot longer. But like every board in that stack is an 8-foot board. In fact, that's one reason we dedicated that stack to it, so that when we need an 8-foot board, we go right there and that's where we get it. And on top of that, every board in there is of the same species. That's all pine. You know, that way we keep it organized. Like that next stack over there,
Right.
there's no pine in it. It's all poplar. Well, it's actually poplar is the main thing in it, but it's everything but pine. It's poplar, oak. That's actually what it mostly is. There's a few maples, a few birches. Then the next one is all pine, And by the way, I didn't tell you about that, not this one, but that one.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over 8 feet, so that's 10s and 12s
Okay.
in there. And the next one is all 10s and 12s, but it's all pine. That way, as we take them off the mill, we categorize them, so when we get ready for a certain project, we can get the correct species, because it makes a big difference on the length and even the width and the thickness and the species, and we try to categorize all those things. We usually categorize the width once they have dried for a year, so we put them just all random widths in there, even though they're all the same length. And then after they dry for a year, we're taking the stack apart and we categorize it down further into different grades and different widths. So we'll have all the 4-inch stuff in one pile, all the 6-inch stuff in another pile, all the 8-inch stuff, and those are common widths. And so the more we organize it, the easier it is to go to exactly what we want and get it without floundering around. We want our movements to be efficient. We have very limited amount of time and so much to do that the living on a farm is like a martial art of movement. And you learn to waste nothing and get everything you can get out of your energy, your time. So those are important qualities that are very important on what kind of things you can get done on the farm. What boy? The one on the left is named Curly. The one on the right is named Poncho. I met that one on the right by flashlight one night on the side of the interstate up in Saskatchewan.
Really?
An 18-year-old young man owned him. His name was Cody Corbiere. And he had gotten Poncho for working on a ranch in Alberta, up in the Rocky Mountains. And the owners of the ranch told him that they wanted him to help train the horses. Cody was a horse trainer. In fact, he grew up on a Morgan ranch. This is a Morgan horse. And he saw me going across the country. I set the world record on horse and buggy on 2,486 miles in 56 days. And one late afternoon, Cody Corbiere came by in his little compact car, and he pulled over and he said, "Is that a Morgan horse you got there?" And I said, "Yeah, that's a Morgan." He said, "I thought so. I like Morgan horses. My family raised them." I said, "Yeah, I like Morgans too." He said, "We just live 20 miles up here. You want to spend the night?" And I said, "You betcha."
Oh, that's fabulous.
And we had some hay to feed our horses, and they fed us some food. He started telling me about this horse here, which I hadn't seen. And it was his paycheck. They didn't have enough money to pay him, but they gave him a really fine horse. In fact, his father, Poncho's father, was a champion stallion. And then, so he told me about it, and I went and met it by flashlight. And the next morning at daybreak, I started training it. It was completely untrained, wasn't even trained to be halter broke, really hardly been handled by human beings. And I started the next morning at daylight. I bought him that night. By daylight, I started training him. I trained him all day long. The only time I took a break was to use the bathroom. I didn't stop to eat, and I kept going and going at it. And when it got dark, he was trained well enough to pull a buggy.
Wow.
And the next morning before daylight, I had already fed him and brushed him and put his outfit on. And at daylight, when we could see to go, we started heading across the national grasslands of Saskatchewan. It's a national park they have there. And we were heading west, and we went until we got to the Rocky Mountains. And there's a museum there in Cardston, Alberta. And I found out that Poncho's dad was the one that they used as the model to make the sculpture of the horses that they had in front of the carriage. They were like a plastic horse, but it was a model of his father. His father was so representative of this perfect carriage horse that in the second largest museum in the world, the Carriage Museum, they decided to use his father as the model of representing the perfect carriage horse. So there I was with Poncho tied up out front, and me saying to the, sort of just mimicking to the plastic statue, "Hello, Poncho's daddy."
We have a large carriage museum on Long Island in Stony Brook.
Wow.
About 30 or 40 carriages.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see that. 30 or 40.
More.
Or more, yeah.
Wow. I'm not sure how many they have at Clarkson, but I'm sure it was several hundred.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that one too. There's a movie about that journey, a documentary movie shown over there where they have those little t-shirt sales.
Oh, I'll have to go pick that up. I didn't know.
Full Circle. They named it Full Circle because we did a big circle. We started in Hyannis, Nebraska. We actually had a little ranch outside of Hyannis, a big ranch called the Shadbolt Ranch. And then we went straight north across Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Manitoba, then west across Saskatchewan, and then went into Alberta till we hit the very base of the Rockies, and we skirted the Rockies right at the very foot of the mountains. And then we went back into America at Sweetgrass, and then we went down a little bit along the Rockies in Montana, and then we turned back east, actually southeast. We did a huge diagonal all the way across Montana. And when we got to the eastern border of Montana, we turned straight south, went all the way across Wyoming, and then we turned into Nebraska and came back up to the Shadbolt Ranch, made a full circle. And we did all that in 56 days.
Wow.
And there were 3 days that we didn't even travel. One of the 3 days was the day that I trained Poncho. One day I was so exhausted I couldn't stand up. And the other day we had the most horrific wind I've ever seen in my life. You couldn't hardly stand up in the wind. And that's why we didn't travel that day.